What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Tuesday, September 8th, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart cell phone app. Search for the Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Appearing on Fox News Sunday, former Vice President Dick Cheney was grilled about his opposition to the Iran nuclear deal by Chris Wallace. Wallace asked Cheney, "In fairness, did you leave President Obama with a mess?" The former vice president responded that the Bush administration's actions to take down Saddam Hussein made an impact on the Iranians, making other countries like Libya surrender their nuclear weapons. Wallace also grilled Cheney and his daughter Liz about the rise of ISIS in Iraq, suggesting that the rise of terrorist groups in the country started after the initial invasion of Iraq under the Bush administration. Both Cheneys blamed President Obama for, quote, walking away from the Middle East and creating a huge vacuum. Regarding the 2016 campaign, Cheney refused to endorse or denounce Trump, even after Wallace read off his negative comments Trump has made about Cheney. Cheney has been a prolific media presence during the Obama years, mostly criticizing the president and his policies. Still, Republican candidates are not expected to utilize the polarizing former vice president on the campaign trail. Bernie Sanders has moved past Hillary Clinton for the first time in the 2016 presidential campaign, jumping ahead of the former Secretary of State by 9 points in New Hampshire. In a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, Sanders sits at 49% versus Clinton's 38%. The poll shows many voters cited Clinton's personal email use as a problem for them. As the Vermont senator surges, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, once thought to be the shoo-in candidate for the Republicans, fell to 6% support in an Iowa poll, 23 points behind frontrunner Donald Trump. The real estate mogul drew 29% support, while Dr. Ben Carson came in second at 22%. In New Hampshire, Trump is also out on front at 28%. Ohio Governor John Cash comes in at second at 12%, and Carson is at 11%. Media is covering the polls at length on a slow Labor Day news day. The result of the Democratic side fuel the increasing talks for Vice President Joe Biden to enter the race. Biden drew 12% of the vote in New Hampshire without officially announcing his candidacy. As a strong debater and authentic speaker would appeal to blue-collar voters, Clinton's slide will surely play a factor in the vice president's decision, which is expected to be announced by the end of September. The Minnesota dentist who sparked an international firestorm after killing Zimbabwe's beloved Cecil the Lion broke his silence in an interview with the Associated Press on Monday, expressing both remorse and irritation. Walter Palmer, who will return to work at his River Bluff dental practice this week, expressed remorse for killing such a beloved animal. Palmer said, "If I had known this lion had a name and was important to the country or a study, obviously I wouldn't have taken it. Nobody in our hunting party knew before or after the name of this lion." Palmer insisted he acted legally and wasn't aware Cecil was wearing a tracking device or that he was part of an Oxford University research project. He also challenged people who sent death threats to him and his family. "I don't understand that level of humanity to come after people not involved at all." Palmer also disputed conversationalists who have claimed Cecil wandered for 40 hours after initially being shot by a gun, before he was later killed with an arrow. Palmer refused to answer certain questions or have the interview videotape, according to the Associated Press. He faces the threat of extradition from several high-level Zimbabwean officials. No official steps have been taken yet in that process. Cecil the Lion's death set off an international media outcry in July, with the majority of commenters pointing figurative arrows at Palmer. Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible Rogue Nation will roll into Tuesday's debut at the Chinese box office with momentum after the Paramount spy thriller crossed the $500 million mark at the worldwide box office this weekend. Beijing will be the last major stop for Rogue Nation, which has rolled up nearly $329 million at the foreign box office. Coupled with its $180 million domestic haul, the fifth installment in the Mission Impossible franchise is at $509 million worldwide. A solid run in China, at least 36 $137 million will make Rogue Nation, written and directed by Chris McCary, the second highest grossing film in the franchise. It should do that and pass the $546 million that 2000's Mission Impossible 2 rung up, but it's not going to catch 2011's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That one finished with $695 million worldwide after adding $101 million from China. Paramount knows how much China can mean to a major franchise film. In 2014, Transformers Age of Extinction topped its $245 million domestic haul with $320 million from China and wound up at $1.1 billion worldwide. This weekend, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator Genisys grossed $11.4 million in China, which lifted its total there to $108 million, well ahead of its $89 million domestic total. The $346 million it has grossed overseas represents nearly 80% of the film's $436 million worldwide total. And in a related story, Jurassic World continues to put an Indominus Rex-sized footprint on the summer of 2015 in Hollywood's record books, crossing the $1 billion mark in the international box office and leading Universal Pictures to an unprecedented $6 billion in global grosses, the studio announced on Sunday. It's the only fourth film to ever reach that milestone, joining Avatar, which made $2 billion, Titanic, which made $1.5 billion, and Universal's own Furious 7, which made $1.1 billion, which crossed $1 billion in April. With estimate grosses of $1.003 billion internationally and $647.5 million in North America, Jurassic World is the third highest grossing film of all time and the biggest film of 2015, with a worldwide total of $1.651 billion. Those milestones are just the latest for Jurassic World, a sequel to Steven Spielberg's 1993 sci-fi classic about genetically modified dinosaurs running amok that has shattered a slew of box office records, including domestic and international openings, and fastest to $1 billion globally. Jurassic World has driven Universal to the highest grossing year in the studio's 103-year history and the best ever by any studio. Notably, it's indeed just 7 months to shatter the record of $5.52 billion in the worldwide grosses set by rival 20th Century Fox in December of 2014. Jurassic World is one of the three Universal movies to top $1 billion in global grosses this year, with Furious 7 achieving the feat and Illumination Entertainment's The Minions getting there in August. Nearly every film the studio has released this year has worked, including 50 Shades of Grey, Pitch Perfect 2, and Straight Outta Compton. Jurassic World, which was directed by Colin Trevorrow, starred Chris Pratt and Dallas Bryce Howard, and produced by Frank Marshall, Patrick Crowley, and Spielberg. It had a $150 million production budget. Universal has set a sequel for June of 2018. Pratt, Howard, and most of the cast will return, but no director has been set. Trevorrow co-wrote Jurassic World with Deborah Conley, and they script the sequel as well. Oscar winner Kate Hudson is replacing Rebel Wilson to voice one of the new characters in Kung Fu Panda 3, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Seth Rogen, and Dustin Hoffman are among those reprising their roles in DWA's hit finance telling the tale of Po, the noodle-peddling panda who is a fabled dragon warrior. J.K. Simmons and Bryan Cranston are among the new additions to the cast. Wilson was due to play Mimi, a crazy ribbon-dancing panda, the movie's series' first female panda lead who is romantically obsessed with Po. Insider says the production schedule became extended, forcing Wilson to bow out. Hudson will now voice Mimi, and the previous completed scene will be reanimated to reflect Hudson's take on the character. Jennifer Yu Nelson and Alessandro Corleone are directing the movie, which has a release date of January 29, 2016. The new storyline sees Po reunited with his long-lost father, and he discovers a long-lost panda paradise. His newfound happiness is threatened with the emergence of a supernatural villain, Simmons. Po has to go from student to teacher as he must train a village of bears to master the martial arts. This is the first animated voice work for Hudson, who is currently shooting Mother's Day for Gary Marshall. Pop star Sam Smith released a photo on Monday that seems to confirm that the singer will perform the theme song for Spectrum, the new James Bond film. Smith posted a photo of what appears to be his hand wearing a ring stamped with the image of the black octopus. The octopus serves as a symbol for Spectrum, an incredibly powerful crime syndicate that will play a major role in the new Bond film. If Smith is indeed singing the theme song, he would join the ranks of other famous musicians like Paul McCartney, Tina Turner, Madonna, and Adele, who have all lent their voices to the Super Spy universe. Smith was nominated for 4 Grammy Awards in 2015, winning 3, including the Grammy for Best New Artist and Song of the Year for Stay With Me. In Spectrum, Daniel Craig once again plays James Bond. This time around, Bond must hunt down the leaders of Spectrum, one of whom may hold a secret from Bond's past. The film also stars Monica Bellucci, Ralph Fiennes, Christoph Waltz, and Dave Bautista. Sam Mendes is directing after previously directing the Bond film Skyfall. And 2 passings to report. Martin Milner, the actor known for his role on the TV series Route 66 and Adam 12, passed away on Sunday. He was 83. Born in Detroit in 1931 but moved with his family to Los Angeles, Milner quickly took up acting. His first part was the role of John Day in 1947's Lifewood Father, according to his official IMDb page. Milner appeared in various roles across film and television before landing the part of Stephen Banner on several episodes of the popular police drama Dragnet. His big break, however, came in 1960 when he starred on the CBS series Route 66 as Todd Stiles. On the show, Stiles and his best friend, Bud Murdoch, played by George Maharis, wandered around the United States exploring social problems of the era. The show was unique that it was filmed on location all over the country. Milner would go on to star in the NBC series Adam 12. The show followed veteran LAPD officer Pete Malloy, played by Milner, and his rookie partner Jim Reed, played by Ken McCord. The show was produced by Jack Webb, who played Sergeant Joe Friday on Dragnet. Like Dragnet, Adam 12 was based on real LAPD cases, with the names changed to protect those involved. The series was praised for its realistic portrayal of police procedure. Even LAPD Chief Charlie Beck expresses admiration for Milner on Twitter. He wrote, hashtag Adam 12 and Martin Milner embodied the spirit of the hashtag LAPD to millions of viewers. His depiction of a professional and tough yet compassionate cop led to thousands of men and women applying to become hashtag LAPD officers, including me. Godspeed, Martin Milner. You will live forever in our hearts, CB. Milner is survived by his wife Judith Jones, whom he married in 1957, and his sons Andrew and Stuart. And Judy Carn, best known to fans as the Sakatumi girl on Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, has died at the age of 76, according to multiple media reports. Carn, who was born in Northampton, England, got her first role on screen came in 1961 when she guest starred on an episode of the British spy series Danger Man opposite Patrick McGugan, according to her official IMDb page. She became endeared to American audience, however, when she was a regular performer on the first 2 seasons of the NBC sketch series Rowan Martin's Laugh-In. She would often use the phrase "sock it to me," which led to her getting dosed with water. The show also famously served as a launching pad for such comedians as Henry Gibson, Lily Tomlin, and Goldie Hawn. Carn was also married to Burt Reynolds from 1963 to 1965. She would later write that she had affairs with both sexes during the marriage and struggled with drug abuse and notably heroin. She was also briefly married to producer Robert Bergman from 1970 to 1971. Despite her struggles with drugs, Carn continued working through the 1970s and 1980s, appearing on shows like Love American Style, Get Christy Love, and On the Line. Her last credit role came in the 1993 film What About Me? Carn returned to Northampton and began writing her autobiography, Laughing on the Outside, Crying on the Inside, the bittersweet saga of the Sakatumi girl, which was released in 1985. She reportedly died in Northampton on September 3rd. DirecTV and Al Jazeera America have reached a deal that resolves dueling legal claims over carriage of the Qatari-backed cable news network. The satellite giant filed a lawsuit in July 2014 with allegations that Al Jazeera America breached a more favored nation clause by giving other distributors better terms. Specifically, after giving Qataris purchase Al Gore's Current TV in early 2013, Time Warner Cable was able to execute termination of the news network's carriage upon a change in its ownership. Time Warner Cable was then was given a better pricing so that Al Jazeera America would appear on the cable service. Per current TV's MFN obligation, Al Jazeera America was then obliged to offer other distributors similar terms. AT&T, DirecTV, and other files claims to enforce these obligations. Al Gore then brought a lawsuit alleging that Al Jazeera was encouraging distributors to file baseless claims so as to dip into the $65 million held in escrow in the Al Jazeera current deal. The former vice president is still on the warpath. On Thursday, he filed a second lawsuit in Delaware Chancery Court against Al Jazeera, with aims to have his legal expenses reimbursed. Meanwhile, DirecTV amended its own lawsuit against Al Jazeera America in June to include the results of audits uncovered in the discovery phase. The Statcaster updated claim damages to $74.5 million of the alleged MFN breach and withdrew a separate claim that Al Jazeera America also breached the contract by not delivering the type of programming promised by Kern. That was withdrawn because Al Jazeera America's carriage agreement with DirecTV expired in July. The parties worked on a renewal. As negotiations proceeded, Al Jazeera America filed amended counterclaims, saying that DirecTV has since March stopped making licensing payments. Instead of forking over millions, DirecTV was allegedly withholding the money as a quasi-advance on the damages it expects to win from Al Jazeera America at a trial scheduled for January 2016. DirecTV has now filed a notice that the entire case has been settled. No terms have been released, but it's likely part of a new carriage deal. In a statement, a DirecTV spokesperson says, "We are pleased to have settled the MFN violation lawsuit with Al Jazeera America and ensures that our customers receive a fair deal. Al Jazeera America continues to be available on the DirecTV and Uverse platforms." Al Anstey, the CEO of Al Jazeera America, says, "We are pleased to extend our partnership with DirecTV. Al Jazeera America is committed to its mission of developing in-depth, unbiased, and trusted journalism of the highest quality. I look forward to continuing to work together to grow our audience and deliver more compelling news and remarkable stories that inform and educate and inspire audiences across America." Beyonce was in Philadelphia headlining day one of the holiday weekend's Made in America Festival, which means that the singer was also there seeking one of the singer's empowering sermons. Needless to say, she delivered. After waiting for what seemed like an eternity among the festival-weary throngs, and following a set from maybe her most improbable openers ever, rock band Modest Mouse, a chorus of Happy Birthday broke out in the crowd for Beyonce, who turned 34 on Friday. As if on cue, an anonymous synth that would become her most recent release, the melancholy Crazy in Love remix kicked in, and the crowd got its first glimpse of the woman leading the night's revival, clad in an impeccable sequined leotard and thigh-high red boots. The performance is bulletproof as Beyonce translated much of her latest self-titled releases, a healthy number of Destiny Child cuts, onto a stage set that could have been easily been borrowed from the New York City Ballet storage locker, with the addition of some sturdy poles, of course. Her current show has an art house edge as dancers move fluidly to Bootylicious, provoked twerking to a black box theater-ready solos in front of a flexible but understated great cue. Beyonce plays with her songs too, teasing gritty robotic variations of warm and friendly classics, yet keeping her finger on the pulse with Epsom comments and Trap Queen inflected interludes. Never more than the beat, though. This is Beyonce's show after all. Her evolving aesthetic comes in service of a grander mission, however. Throughout this set, Beyonce paired her own empowerment anthems with famous quotes from fellow vocal feminists. Ronda Rousey's recent treatise on Do Nothing Bitches with Diva, You Can't Be a Female of a Hustler and Do Nothing at the Same. Eartha's Kit's reaction to the suggestion that she compares for a man after survival. Maya Angelou's Phenomenal Woman with the Pretty Grown Woman ballet interlude. And, of course, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's definition of feminism into the song that made it iconic, Flawless. There are few more moving sights than a crowd of thousands cheerily widely for the idea of a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equalities of the sexes. By asserting her voice among these historical, brash, and outspoken women, Beyonce is getting out in front of the next think piece, claiming her spot among the trailblazers before anyone else can question her role. Even the self-aware documentarian, she's showing fans exactly how she wants to be remembered. A beautiful, self-possessed woman who wants her fans to believe that they are too. A daring proposition, if there ever is one. Beyonce's shows are rarely off the cut, but during Flawless, the singer gave the audience a brief ad-lib. After a tiny, seemingly unchoreographed flex of her arm, she quietly shared her most important directive: stunt on me. And now let's look back at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this day in 1986, the Oprah Winfrey Show is broadcast nationally for the first time. A huge success, her daytime television talk show turns Winfrey into one of the most powerful, wealthy people in show business and arguably the most influential woman in America. Winfrey started her TV career as a local news anchor in Nashville and Baltimore before moving to Chicago in 1984 to host a low-rated morning talk show. She quickly turned the show into a ratings winner, beating out a popular talk program hosted by Phil Donahue. At the urging of the Chicago-based movie critic Roger Ebert, Winfrey signed a syndicated deal with King World, and the Oprah Winfrey Show was broadcast nationally for the first time on September 8, 1986. It went on to become the highest-rated talk show in TV history. Proving that talk show host wasn't the only role she could play, Winfrey made her big-screen debut as Sophia in director Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple in 1985, based on Alice Walker's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name, and co-starred Whoopi Goldberg and Danny Glover. The film earned Winfrey a Best Supporting Actress Oscar nomination, although she lost a gold statuette to Angelica Houston for Prezi's honor. Winfrey went on to star in and produce in 1998's Beloved, based on the Toni Morrison's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, and voiced characters for 2006 Charlotte's Web and 2007's B-Movie, which co-starring was co-written by Jerry Seinfeld. In addition to TV and film, Winfrey became a true media mogul, branching out to books and magazines, radio, musical theater, and the web. In 2008, the Oprah Winfrey Show had an estimated weekly audience of some 46 million viewers in the United States and was broadcast around the world in 134 countries. Winfrey wielded enormous influence when it came to promoting products. A recommendation on her show could turn a book, movie, or just about anything else into a bestseller, a phenomenon that has been dubbed the Oprah effect. The show ended in May 2011, several months after Winfrey launched the Oprah Winfrey Network. Also on this date in 2003, the Recording Industry Association of America began suing individual sharers of copyrighted MP3 files. Kerry Sherman, the president of Recording Industry Association of America, said, "Nobody likes playing the heavy and having to resort to litigation." On this day in 2003, he also added, "But when your product is being regularly stolen, there comes a time where you have to take the appropriate action." The product in question was music in the form of digital MP3 files being transmitted among users of internet file sharing applications in violation of copyright laws. And while the RIAA's idea of appropriate actions in response to digital media piracy had previously meant efforts to shut down the operators of internet file sharing systems, the industry group announced a new and controversial strategy on this day: the filing of lawsuits against individual users of those systems, some of them children. Sherman, in an announcement about the RIAA's new enforcement strategy, said, "We've been telling people for a long time that file sharing copyrighted music is illegal, and you are not anonymous when you do it, and that engaging in it can have real consequences." By September 2003, having undertaken a massive anti-piracy public education campaign in the months since Napster was shut down by court order in 2001, and while still pursuing a case against the Dutch operators of a peer-to-peer file sharing system called Grootster, the RIAA has decided to back up its public threats with direct legal actions against individuals. The RIAA's announcement of their first lawsuits against individuals was accompanied by statements of support from music industry players, large and small, including legendary Motown songwriter Lamont Dozier, who pleaded to end digital piracy, asked those who engage in illegal file sharing to step into the shoes of music professionals who have families and children. But in fact, some of the 261 defendants sued in the first round of RIAA's lawsuits were families with children, in many cases minor children whose parents had no idea about their kids' music downloading habits. Federal law allowed the RIAA seek damages as high as $150,000 per illegally shared song per defendant. But in practice, the RIAA offered defendants the option of establishing a clean slate by destroying all of their illegally acquired files and paying a settlement of approximately $3 per illegal song. A little more than 3 weeks after announcing its new legal strategy on this date in 2003, the RIAA announced that 52 of the 261 individuals named in the initial round of lawsuits had reached such cash settlements. Within the next 20 months, the RIAA sued a further 11,195 individuals, reaching financial settlements with 2,484. None of the RIAA's cases against individual file sharers has yet gone to trial. And as your entertainment report for Tuesday, September 8th, 2015, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart cell phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.